With monthly gaming revenues exceeding $1 billion for 24 months straight, Las Vegas is as hot as ever, especially for those who gamble over $100,000 in a weekend. Today, we're talking about high-rolling whales and what casinos do to attract them by providing experiences that money can't buy.
Welcome to Elevate, where we explore the latest in elevated living. Hear from the local artisans, business owners, and innovators that make Las Vegas extraordinary, and whose stories and insights will help you live your best life.
This is episode 12 with Larry Altschul, SVP Customer Development at MGM Resorts International. Also available on Google and Apple Podcasts. Describe what you do as SVP Customer Development.
I take care of high rollers and celebrities with high denomination gaming.
Super.
So at what point would someone need someone of your caliber?
I usually get involved with a new client at $100,000 and above, someone who's willing or has a propensity to spend $100,000 in a given weekend would get my services. We have below that, we have other executives that can cater to that business, but for me and my team, we try to get involved at $100,000 and above.
Okay.
So tell us about the term whale. I mean, as far as being a kid and hearing about high rollers, it's a term that goes around. I mean, how do you determine who is a whale? Is it used in the industry?
It is used in the industry. I don't know why, but players ask it as well. At our company, we pretty much consider anyone willing to risk $1 million on a given weekend as a whale caliber player. Other resorts may have less, but for what I do, it's $1 million and above.
Got it. So I guess it being sort of, I don't know, are there customers that like to be referred to it as that? Does it help them feel like they're like the big dog?
I don't think we ever referred them in first person as a whale. No. It's a first name basis. It's what I do for a living is relationship based. Mm-hmm. So if I'm coming after you,
yep,
and you're that caliber, you know who you are, and I know who you are.
Right. Gotcha.
How often do these whales come around?
Some you'll see once a year, some you'll see once a month. It all depends on schedules. Again, these are very successful people. Mm-hmm. So some have to be here for business, and they'll give us a rattle. Others you may not see but once a year.
So describe some of the big ups and downs of the business.
It's basically you're competing every day. You're competing to get that player in versus your competitors. There are deal points that create the trips for some of these players, that some of the incentives they get at other places. You may want to match, you may want to surpass. But again, the player is looking for the best business opportunity, and we are looking for the best business opportunity. So you try to manage that. Certain players will ask for things and say they get it at other properties. Mm-hmm. And if I just took it for grain, they tell me they get a discount of 50%, meaning they lost $1, they only pay 50 cents. So you have to do your homework to make sure you understand the marketplace, because the last thing you want to do is create or incentivize above what the market is allowing. It's a business like any other business, and you just got to keep your margins and make sure you're making good business decisions. But our business, unlike any other business, you don't know what the value is going to be. Mm-hmm. When you all sell a house for $3 million, it's a $3 million sale. When I bring in a $3 million customer, I don't know if he's going to win $6 million. I don't know if he's going to break even. I don't know if he's going to lose $3 million. Yeah. So it's managing those expectations, which is the hardest part of this job.
I can imagine.
So what's it like on the casino floor when someone's playing with that kind of money?
Honestly, for me, doing this as long as I have, I just stay calm.
Yep.
I never sweat. I never look. People ask me, like the gentleman I had breakfast with Jesse, it's like, you know how I did? No, I don't. I don't look until you're on the jet going home. Because nothing is going to change by me looking at it. So why am I going to get myself all worked up if it's a big win or a big unfortunate situation?
Do you enjoy there's definitely big highs and lows just being part of that ride, so to speak. I know you've tailored a lot of high net worth folks, and whether it's not just the casinos, but these events and special perks, like you get to spend time with these folks.
Yeah, I think that's the greatest part of my job is being able to touch people. I learned early on in my career that I had the ability to do things, to make things special and to touch someone personally. And it can be just so simple. This weekend, I had a guest come back that hasn't been with me for years. I was visiting his home. I took a picture of his pantry, saw the protein bars his fiance loved. When she got to the room, she's like, "You have my bars." Just an easy, simple touch. But I did photograph like a spy her pantry. But those are the things you do that you can touch
Yes.
people. I think one of my greatest stories along those lines is I was new in the business. I was running Caesars New York office. And I did an event, and we were in Palace Court Restaurant. And one of the players on the trip, his dad was with him, and he was celebrating his 85th birthday.
Okay.
And Mr. Burns, George Burns, the famous comedian, was in the room. And I asked him if he would say happy birthday to this man. He walked over, opened up his jacket, took out a cigar, and handed it to the player's father. The player's father came over to my table after dinner, was shaking. "Oh my God, I will never smoke this. This is unbelievable." And right there, I realized simple things can touch and make memories that no one can ever take away.
So what are some of the most exciting times you've had with clients?
God, there's been so many. I've been so fortunate to experience so many amazing experiences, from Super Bowls to Final Fours to Kentucky Derbies to Melbourne Cup Down Under. If there's a major event, I've pretty much been to it. So that's such a great perk to my position. But I think the greatest perk of my position is the relationships and the networking that I've been able to do. Last week, I had a customer from Mexico City in LA, and he asked me to get tickets for a Laker game. I chose the one against the Clippers, and then I took 15 people that we paid for to go, but I got them onto the court. We were able to shoot baskets on the court after the game. I had the mascot come by and visit our seats because they had 14 kids or 12 kids.
Oh, wow.
So it's the ability to create something out of nothing that can touch someone and keep them loyal to my services.
So is that how you keep people, so happy, given that they can afford anything? These people can buy anything they want.
I get them things that you can't buy. And that's the key, I think, to everything. Because really rich people can buy anything except certain things. And that's where I try to use my networks and my relationships. So the Clipper organization was kind enough to do all this for me, and I had a personal person who was assigned to me. So when we pulled up in our Sprinter, we parked where the players parked. So they got out and they're like looking at all these Rollses and Bentleys and all these great cars, and it's all the players. And because it was at Crypto, which I guess is the old Staples, you had the Lakers parking under there and the Clippers. So it was just a cool start to the, and then to be able to go into the court and sit there and watch shoot around where nobody else can go in. It was pretty cool, especially for the family. They were overjoyed.
I can imagine.
Super.
This episode of Elevate is brought to you by the Rob Jensen Company, the guard-gated real estate experts of Las Vegas. We believe that guard-gated communities are special, and so are the people who choose to live in them. With a full-time team of dedicated experts, we'll keep you feeling protected, informed, and assured along the way. The Rob Jensen Company, your guide through the gates.
Tell us about one of your biggest ploys to get a new player.
So I was chasing a customer that was known, that wasn't with my organization, that was good for 25 to 30 million on a weekend. We're talking mega whale.
Wow.
And I flew to see the Wizards play because I knew one of my players had 4 floor seats on the front row. Then before I left Vegas, I called Rob Pelinka, who was Kobe Bryant's manager at the time, or agent. And I said, Rob, I need a favor from Kobe. And he goes, sure, you've been helping Kobe for years. What do you need? I said, I need Kobe to say hello to me. He's like, what? I go, I'm going to be at the Wizards game on Wednesday. I need Kobe to say hello to me. He's like, that's it? I said, that's it. So I call my players and say, look, we're going to go to the game, but we're going to be on time. We're going to be a little early so I can watch them do their layup drill before the game starts so they can say hello to me. That's all I wanted, because I wanted to gain credibility from someone that I knew was going to be in the stadium. Of course, my guys wanted to go to the bars. We show up 10 minutes into the game. I'm like, guys, at halftime, we are not leaving our seats. We're not going to the bar. We're staying right here. As soon as the buzzer at half, they're gone. I'm furious because they don't know what I'm really. They think I'm there with them, but I'm really there to gain some credibility. These guys have been drinking for 3 hours. They know I'm mad, and they start yelling at Kobe as he's running up and down the court. Kobe, look who's here. And they're looking at me going, you don't know Kobe. I'm like, I don't know Kobe. Goes back and forth, and during a free throw, Kobe's by midcourt. We're sitting right there. And they're like, Kobe, look who's here. And he comes over and hugs me and goes, what up, L.A.? Gives me a hug. And the guy's like, you do know Kobe. And then their phone started blowing up. So I was like, mission accomplished. Everything was perfect. Got more than I expected. Except the man was not in the building. But I did pull off what I set out to do. But it's about building credibility. So everybody would say, who's that guy? I want to know him. And then my guys' phones were blowing up because they're like, what is Kobe saying to you? Who is that guy with you? So everything I was trying to accomplish was there. Except
the man wasn't there.
The man.
That's unfortunate.
Definitely some interesting parallels in terms of the world of luxury real estate. It's the high end, and it's not like these folks are definitely finding you on an ad somewhere randomly. I mean, it's relationships, it's referrals, it's,
I would say 95% of my business comes from referrals.
Wow, that much?
95. Because it's a very small circle. If you think about it, there aren't many people willing to risk $1 million on a given weekend. There's a lot of rich people in this world, but not all have the propensity to game. I find the number one trait of most of my players is that they took risks to get to where they are. So they're usually self-made. Everyone says, are they this or are they that? There's no profession except someone that came from the streets and was hungry to get to where they are. Yeah, and then running the day-to-day operations of a business isn't really exciting to them. So betting $10,000 a card or $20,000 a card gives them that adrenaline rush they miss.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So you've touched on this already a little bit. Is there anything else that's something special you provide that somebody wouldn't expect?
We do so many things. Again, being with MGM Resorts, we have so many options between our different properties. I handle all resorts, but really the big four for us, where the players of that caliber are going to be because of the villas or the mansions or that type of accommodations, the planes we have. But it's the experiences that I can do, with some of our entertainment. And that's what I try to play on because that takes me away from my competitors because they can't compete.
Got it. And what gives you some of the inspiration for these ideas?
I think... And the same thing I teach my children, God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. You listen to what the player's telling you, just like you're listening to what your client's saying, and you hear what makes them tick, and then you try to curate some type of event that's going to touch them. If they're really into their kids, you may get a Kobe Bryant signed ball, to them. I had one player out of the LA area that I was chasing, and I knew he had 3 kids that were really into soccer. So I got Donovan from the USA team to sign 3 jerseys. Then I framed them, and then I sent them to him. But there's been other times. I remember before I even joined this company, I was trying to get this player. And I asked a maitre d' at a restaurant what was his, who comes in this restaurant that's carte blanche, can have whatever they want, no questions asked. And he gave me a name, and I said, what is he like? And he said, French wine, loves French wine. And it's really hard. Again, this is before texting and emails. You were cold calling people. Getting through the assistant to get to the player was hard.
Yeah.
So I would just leave messages like, tell him I have an 82 Petrus I want to share with him. So that got his attention. He called me.
Yes, it would.
And he called me and goes, who are you? Are you nuts? He goes, what do you mean you have an 82 Petrus? I said, we can drink it in your office. We can drink it in my casino. Just tell me. I just want to meet you. He's like, you're nuts. And I said, I am. I'll get on a plane tonight. Just tell me. And he came in and lost $4 million.
Did you give him the Petrus?
Hell yeah.
Oh, okay.
I kept my word.
Did you get a glass? Did he share?
I share.
Share.
Yeah.
I get a taste.
A little bit. So, have you ever had to fire a client?
I try not to. With my personality, I'm pretty good at taking large amounts of stress because I'm so even-keeled and have trained myself over the years not to get volatile. But there are some certain customers I don't enjoy being in their company, but I understand business, and if it's best for the company, it's best for me.
Okay.
I'm a company person through and through.
Super. Not sure if you can answer this one, but what's the biggest thing you've seen a casino offer to bring a whale back?
God. There's so much. I was telling a story the other day that this is going back a few, but a player had such a rough year with us that I bought him a new Mercedes. He said, buy me a car. And I said, sure. Of course, I had to get it approved by all the powers that be, but I knew it wasn't going to be a hard thing to buy a car for someone that had a tough year.
That's nice. It's nice to see. I mean, it seems easy with Wall Street and corporate America just being so aggressive. It's nice to still see that companies can take care of their people.
And you like to. The business has changed so much over the years. Pre 9/11, money was much easier, accessible, kind of what you guys probably see in your business as well. Guys would come in with suitcases of money and just dump it on the game, and there was no questions asked. That happens today. You can't touch it. You have to verify, you have to report it, you have to ensure. And it just goes along with, since terrorists and 9/11 and money laundering and things of that nature, the business continues to evolve. And our company is very good about keeping us trained and making sure we understand the regs for the state, regs for the government, what to look for. Where before, if someone wired you a check and she owed the money, but you wired for her, not a problem. Wow. Debt's paid. We can no longer accept that wire from a third person.
Got it.
Businesses, you have to prove to us that you own 51% or more of your company before we can accept funds from a business. Because you didn't want one partner with another who were 50-50, one guy losing money, that they could maybe come back on us saying you should have known. So I think it comes back to even with what you do, where deposit comes back of know your customer. You have to know where the funds are originating. Is it someone loaning him money to make your payment?
Right. And this was a recent story at a different casino than one you're at that had this person from California that pretty much duped her people out of $10 million and went on a lavish, 6-month.
I had the great pleasure of meeting that young lady.
Yep.
And it was a good thing I didn't pursue it, because it would have been egg on my face, like the casino that is probably dealing with that fallout right now. But again, because she got to that level that we start to get rumblings, and then you're starting to sniff around, new lead, someone says they know her.
Right.
You're starting to pursue, and thank God I didn't go full throttle and get involved, because I could be dragged into that story, which would be a black eye for the company as well as myself.
Now that story, it's like the person was living in the casino for 6 months. It seems like a lot of your folks, because they're busy, they're entrepreneurs, they're successful, even sports people, they've got
Right.
places to go. Do you have anybody that sort of holed up in the casino like that before?
No, I have seen it, but never for that length of time.
Yeah.
I mean, you got lives, you got businesses to run. I have seen certain people, 3 weeks, a month, and it usually maybe from overseas or something.
Okay.
But there are certain telling signs that, it doesn't pass the smell test. And if it smells funny, it probably is funny. Every once in a while, they prove us wrong. But again, going back to training and what we look for, understanding that we have obligations, not only to the state, but to the government, that we have to make sure every I is dotted and every T is crossed.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the stakes are high. Your customers are playing with high stakes, but overall, the stakes are even the biggest.
Yeah, gaming license, that's why I love when people say, this or that, like you took a shot. I'm like, we took a shot? We can look at video right now. If you have questions, I will explain. We'll show you everything. There's no reason for us to put I don't even know how much a gaming license for one of these resorts. No. Not what it costs, but what it's worth.
Right.
To do anything that's inappropriate to a player. But again, there's so many superstitions with players. Certain guys don't want to say in a certain room number because the numbers add up bad. I brought a person back this weekend that hasn't been with us in 5 years, and we've stayed close the whole 5 years, but he was going to another place. And I finally got him over the hump, and he was very superstitious, and he had just an amazing weekend. I pulled out all stops. Everything was perfect. The staff was impeccable. His stay was impeccable. He had a win. Went home very happy, and he should be coming back this week.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Congrats.
So we're sure that you have very loyal customers or clients that don't ever switch casinos. Why do you think that is, given how competitive the market is?
The level of service I try to provide is, I want to say unmatched, but of course there's other people that do it as well as I do. But you build such solid relationships, and there's such a trust. And again, you're talking about millions of dollars. Neither one of us know the outcome. But if they feel they got the best service, and that's the only thing that's going to differentiate me from someone else in our business, is the level of service I provide. I'm probably one of the only nuts in the business that stays on 24/7, 365 for 37 years.
You must be tired.
So how does that look? I mean, just in general, it's like being on call, knowing that you've got people coming in early, out late. Like, do you sleep? Do you live at home or just live at the casino?
I alter, but I have learned to make a decision in the middle of the night, make a good decision, and go back to bed. And if I get woken up again, make another decision. I know when certain people are in, it's going to be a long night and there's going to be a lot of phone calls.
Got it.
So sometimes I'll just stay around the casino, but I don't want to loiter and I don't mean it in a negative, but I don't want to be lingering. I know what players want me next to them and what players don't want me in the building. We'll say hello at check-in. We'll say goodbye at checkout. Other people, I'm at every meal. I wake them up. Some I work out with. It all again goes back to what I said earlier, 2 ears, 1 mouth, listening to what they want, not what I want, what they want, because they are the guest.
Yeah, it's tailored to them.
Now, Vegas is a big town for tipping. Do you get tips?
We're not allowed.
Yeah,
executives are not allowed to take tips.
Gotcha.
They don't want us because, again, we're making decisions. So they don't want any scrutiny that we're being biased because, someone handed you an envelope. So
got it.
All good executives do not accept gifts.
Makes sense. What is a milestone in your career that you're proud of?
My 4 kids.
Good answer.
There's so many. I've been very fortunate. I've been doing this 37 years. I've lived inside the casinos. I lived outside. I ran Caesar's World for many years. I opened up Wynn, which was probably, I'll go with opening of Wynn outside of personal. That was one of my greatest accomplishments. I had never opened a property. Working for Steve Wynn was a great honor. His intensity level surpassed mine. And so when you work for someone with that attention to detail and with that much passion to make the experience better than anybody else, it's very fulfilling. And to hire 12,000, I think we opened up with 12,500 employees. And I was employee, I guess, like 15.
Mm-hmm.
So I was there from 2002, and then we opened in 2005. It was just an amazing experience all the way around. And to see that come to life, when I first joined, we were working in the DI, and Mr. Wynn's Enzo was in the lobby, and they had to start it like every couple of days, so the the whole building would shake. You're like, uh-oh. And then you think it's an earthquake, and it's really them just starting the Enzo. But it's those times and the hours you put in, the teamwork of the people, the original team, that we spent so many hours together. They're like family. And to this day, I'll try to get some of the group, because we're all in different places, because no one stays.
Yeah.
It's the craziness of our business.
This episode of Elevate is brought to you by the Rob Jensen Company, the guard-gated real estate experts of Las Vegas. When it comes to luxury real estate, experience matters. Whether you're buying or selling, visit robjensen.com to see how our expertise can benefit you. Your guide through the gates.
How has your role changed over the years?
Well, I've done different positions, like I said, inside, outside. I ran Caesars New York office for 5 years early in my career. That was probably my foray into the high-end business. I broke in at the Sahara in '87 right out of school. I was fortunate enough that I broke right into management. I went in for a summer help interview because a girl I knew in college, her father was the director of HR. I went in. 6 hours later, I left after meeting this lady, and I ended up being the assistant director of corporate marketing in my first job in the business. And really what that position was, it was loyalty marketing before there was loyalty marketing. Computers, God, I'm going to sound older, just coming out.
Yeah.
And she had invested so much money, so 3 weeks into my tenure, she got let go. And here I am going, uh-oh. And they gave me the spot to run it. They changed my title, of course. And the first year I ran that program, I want to say the year I got there, they made $30,000. My first year, we did $1.3 million, and my career was off. So I left them and joined Caesars. Then I got shipped to New York. I had 2 weeks to move to New York, take over their New York office. So that was just catering to customers for Caesars, which was Caesars Tahoe, Caesars Atlantic City, Caesars Palace at the time. Then I came back out as I was moving back to Las Vegas. A gentleman by the name of Arthur Goldberg wanted to meet me, who was chairman of Bally's, and they were starting Hilton Gaming, which became Park Place. He made me an offer I could not refuse. And we were buying Caesars, so I made the jump. I thought they wanted me, but it was really the propaganda. Looking back on it and being in the business of, even the executives are jumping ship. Me being, when there's an article about you in the Wall Street Journal, it's not about you. And I know that now, but that was our ploy to get me and to get the shareholders to vote for Hilton Gaming over, I think it was... ITT was selling, Hilton Gaming was buying, and Barry Starlick with Starwood came in as the white knight and took it. Arthur was persistent. I joined him. 2 years later, we bought Caesars. I went back to Caesars again, and had a great run there until I went to work for Mr. Wynn. And as all good things happen with Mr. Wynn, there's a little disagreement. And since his name was on the building, one of us had to go. Guess who that was? And I joined MGM Resorts and have been there for the last 10 years.
Wow, it's been quite a ride.
Amazing. I'm a very, very blessed man.
So what's next?
Don't know. We'll see. There's so much going on in our industry. I'm a student of the game, so I read everything I can about gaming, and the sports betting and the digital is becoming such a major part of our business. And with BetMGM being 50% owned by our company, And now this weekend they announced that we got the Japan bid. So we're going to start building a $10 billion project there that won't probably be concluded for 6 years.
Wow.
But we're the first gaming company to get awarded a license or a permission, a bid to pursue in Japan.
Wow.
Which is exciting.
That is.
So the growth and the opportunities are there. And some people ask if I'm going to slow down, and I just don't see it.
I don't either.
Got it. So, if you do ever get a down minute, what do you like to do for yourself?
Drink wine, work out, and I love to go to the beach.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's the only place I kind of chill a little bit when I'm by water, even though I have 2 phones going. I can sit there and look at the ocean and make $1 million decisions and not even blink an eye. So that's my place to just duck away.
Sounds good. Well, thanks again, Larry, for
My pleasure.
coming out. Best of luck.
Thank you, Larry. Pleasure.